It's another beautiful day on the Gulf Coast of Florida as the Toronto Blue Jays move into Tropicana Field for Game 2 of this 3-game series. The Jays at 10-7 take on the league-leading Tampa Bay Rays at 12-5. In Game 1 of the series, Alex Gonzalez came up with a key hit. Jose Bautista had 3 doubles, including a first-inning RBI, and Vernon Wells continues to wear out the baseball. 4 runs in the first stood up last night for the 6-5 win. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez, along with Rance Molyneux. And Rance, this ball club has really played well. They've won 6 in a row now on the road. They got off to a great start with their first road trip, but they are really enjoying playing on the road this year.
Yes, they have, and that's a change from the past. The last couple of years, the Jays have not played well on the road at all, and to have a good season, very important to play at least 500 baseball on the road. So far this year, the Jays are off to a great start. They're averaging 5 runs a game, 6-1 record on the road coming into this evening's contest.
They got Aaron Hill back last night, and they really welcomed his bat back, and he didn't waste any time having an impact in the outcome.
Well, this home run, as it turns out, was the difference in last night's ball game, but it also allowed Cito Gaston to move Alex Gonzalez down in the 6th spot. He had a big hit in the first inning, so Aaron Hill's return to the lineup adds some much needed depth to this Jays ball club.
And Ricky Romero, the starter tonight, needs some offense. He has pitched very well, but his record really doesn't indicate how well he has pitched.
No, 1 win, 1 loss coming into this evening's ball game. He could easily be 3-0 the way he's performed so far. The Jays are averaging just a little bit better than a 1.5 support for Ricky Romero. Hopefully that will change here this evening.
The starting matchup, Romero against Jeff Neiman, the big right-hander. Both of these guys, as rookies a year ago, won 13 games. They're quite different in their approach, but they're proving now that they are not a fluke.
Well, Joe Madden said that Jeff Neiman is a real exception in the fact that he controls 5 different pitches. That's very unusual, and he has been very good here at Tropicana Field with a career ERA of 3.24. He's been outstanding. Expect him to be tough again here this evening.
Well, it's going to be a great pitching matchup. Ricky Romero will make his 4th start of the season. He has really thrown the ball well. He's 6th in the American League in ERA. He's 1st in opponent's batting average. When we come back to the Tropicana Field, we'll sit down with Ricky Romero. Ricky Romero, he's off a 13-win season a year ago. We had a chance to sit down with Ricky Romero and ask him about building on that great rookie season. Ricky, coming into spring training this year after your great rookie season, what did you have on your mind as what you wanted to work on and accomplish coming into this year?
I think the biggest thing was consistency. Just pitching around the strike zone. That was my biggest thing. As far as last year, that's where I felt like I kind of let myself down, let the team down at times, and you know, walks got me in trouble last year. So this offseason, you know, I kind of just cleared my mind and you know, made it a point that I wanted to be around the strike zone and pitch to contact, and you know, have no problem with that. And you know, I feel like the past few starts that I've had this year, that's what I've done, and I put myself in a good situation to go deep into a game.
Ricky, you've had 3 starts, and basically each of those 3 starts you've used a different approach. How much confidence do you have now that you have multiple weapons, that if one pitch isn't working for you, something else will be there for you?
I think that's the biggest key. You know, if you want to pitch up in this league, you got to have different weapons at times. You can't just stick to one game plan and expect to be. You might be successful one time through the lineup and one time through that team, you know, but they'll get to you. And I feel like that's the biggest thing where I've kind of matured, where I don't panic as much as if one pitch isn't working. I kind of just view it as another challenge. If one pitch isn't working, I go to another one and have no problem with it.
Ricky, you played high school ball in Southern California. You played college ball in Southern California. You pitched on Team USA in 2004 with most of the best players in the country in college. How much did that experience help you make the adjustment to pro ball?
Oh, big time. Just knowing that you belong there, I think, is the biggest thing. And when you put on the uniform with all those guys, with the elite players in the country, it makes you think, you know, that you do belong up here and that you do belong with anyone and you can play at any level. And it's just one of those things where it definitely builds confidence, and you know, I think that's what it did for me.
Ricky, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Ricky Romero will be back to start Game 2 of this 3-game series. A very short 3-game road trip. Blue Jays take on the Rays. Rays. Blue Jays won last night 6-5. That ties their win total from a year ago. They were 1-8 in this ballpark last year. Take a look at Cedar Gaston's lineup tonight. Fred Lewis continues to bat top of the order. Lynn and in the middle, and then Vernon Wells Overbay. Down in the 7th spot, Jose Bautista has really come alive since he's been dropped out of that leadoff spot. He had 3 doubles in last night's game. That's one shy of the doubles record. There have been 4 players in the history of the Jays that have had 4 doubles in one game, but he is swinging a red-hot bat right now.
And he'll be up against a tough opponent tonight in Jeff Neiman. He has been especially tough here in this ballpark in his young career. 2.93 entering the contest this evening. 15 and a third inning to work, 7 strikeouts. Jeff Neiman has a fastball that will touch 93. He will cut and sink his fastball. Good curveball, slider, and change. And he will use his cutters to run in on the hands of the lefties, throw the slider to the right-handed hitters. And he is unusual in the fact that he has 5 pitches, and he controls all of them very well.
And he's also challenging. He's a 6'9", so he creates a very dramatic downhill angle, real tough
visual for the hitters batting against Jeff Neiman tonight.
Defensively for the Rays this evening, it will be Crawford in left, Upton in center, Kepler in right, Longoria and Bartlett on the left side of the infield, Zobrist and Pena on the right side. Jaso will catch this evening, and Jeff Neiman does the pitching. B.J. Upton came to the big leagues as a shortstop. But it's such a tremendous athlete. They moved him into center field, where he has really blossomed, has great range and a very strong throwing arm.
Had a good play on the warning track last night with his back to the infield to haul in a long drive. Fred Lewis will step in. Lewis 2 for 4 in last night's game, and he scored one of those 4 first inning runs. Inside. Pop down the left field line. Bartlett, Longoria with a basket catch, running away from the field, records the first out. Great concentration.
Excellent concentration. And what a tremendous athlete. Won the Gold Glove last year for fielding excellence. And this is a very difficult play, over your shoulder catch, especially have that shortstop bearing down on you.
Well, one thing this team can do is play some defense. They've committed just 10 errors this year, and they've got Gold Glove candidates all over the diamond. So there's one quick out for Jeff Neiman, and he'll work to Aaron Hill. 1 for 4 with a homer last night. First pitch swing, another pop up. This one over on the first base side. Pena just in front of the dugout. 2 quick outs.
And another nice defensive play. Pena with a long run. Had to find that fence over there in front of the dugout. Got some help from his teammates. You could hear about right here. They're telling him, you have room, and a nice catch.
That's always helpful when you're going over to your own dugout, because you know that they're going to be there to let you know just how much room you have. So they're 2 down here in the first. Adam Lind. He walked and scored in the first last night. Takes the first pitch strike. Blue Jays jumped all over Matt Garza in the first inning. Put up a 4 spot. And they needed every one of those 4 first inning runs. Little sinking fastball catches the corner. 0-2.
And that's the way Jeff Neiman will pitch. He'll throw the 2-seamer, run it away from the left-handed hitter. Then he'll cut the fastball, throw the cutter in on the hands, get you leaning out over the plate, and then come in hard.
He's going to work to both sides of the plate, and he does it with a combination of pitches, and that's a real challenge for these Blue Jay hitters tonight. A ball and 2 strikes. He struck him out. A 1-2-3 first inning for Jeff Neiman on just 7 pitches. Two spot. Ben Zobrist, the number 3 hitter, 26 hits versus the Blue Jays over his last 18 games. It might be time to go back to the drawing board and come up with a different approach to Zobrist. Last night he had an RBI, a double, scored a run, and stole a base. Had a big night offensively.
And he'll be up against Ricky Romero this evening, who has been outstanding. Just 1-1 coming in. Could easily be 3-0, but just hasn't had much run support in the early going. Just 11 hits allowed in 23 innings of work. He has been outstanding.
Jason Bartlett will lead it off. First pitch swinging into right field. Snyder, after breaking back, recovers and makes an easy play. One swing, one out.
Defensively this evening for the Toronto Blue Jays, Lewis, Wells, and Snyder in the outfield. Bautista at third, Gonzalez at short, Hill at second, Overbay at first, Buck behind the plate, and Ricky Romero on the mound. Vernon Wells, 3-time Gold Glove winner, just continues to shine. Has not lost a step. Made a catch in deep in right center last night that quite possibly saved the game for the Blue Jays. A ball hit by the catcher, John Jaso.
Carl Crawford swings at the first pitch and misses. Takes a pitch down and in, 1-1. 328 average. Crawford, a ground rule double in the 9th inning. Fights it off. That double came against Kevin Gray, went down in the corner. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, it bounced out of play. It held Crawford at second. And then Gregg was able to strike out Zobrist for the final out and pick up the save. Romero 1-2 to Crawford. Struck him out. Good curveball gets Carl Crawford, and Ricky Romero is pretty well focused early in this game.
Well, Ricky Romero with a very good fastball. He'll pitch at 89 to 93. You just saw the outstanding curveball to Crawford and a very good change, and he has really matured over this last year and a half, and it's really shown in his demeanor, his approach to pitching, and his performance on the mound.
And he's pounding the strike zone. In our interview with Ricky Romero, he talked about that being the one goal he wanted to accomplish this year, was to throw strikes and challenge the hitters to put the ball in play. Whoa, just a little bit high. You can see Ricky feeling his fingers. That ball slipped, obviously, trying to get on top of that curveball. Went a long way. All the way back to the screen. That's a little unnerving if you're the hitter, wondering where the next one's going to go. 1-1 to Zobrist. On the ground, Overbay can't make the play underneath his glove into right field. Zobrist with the base hit.
Well, it looked as if Lyle Overbay's first move was to his left, and the ball was to his right, and he was unable to recover. And Zobrist just continues to wear out the Jays.
Well, Overbay really plays aggressively in setting up his positioning. He's well off the bag, but just couldn't make that play. 2 down now for Evan Longoria, the third baseman. Cuts at the first pitch. You can see the Rays have scattered Ricky Romero very effectively. They're swinging at the first pitch. They know he's going to pound that strike zone.
And probably a good approach. When you're facing a pitcher who has very good command, is going to pound the strike zone, you might as well be aggressive. Otherwise, you're just going to constantly find yourself in that 1-2 count, which is very uncomfortable for any hitter.
Off speed on the ground to third. Bautista can't make the play. There's a great example of that ball getting right over the top of the bag and being a distraction for Jose Bautista.
Yes, and it really his only chance was to try to get around the baseball, come through it, field it with one hand, and throw off balance. Ball was not hit hard at all, and right here he tried to go down with two hands, and when you have a lot of momentum coming forward like Bautista did and you try to go down with the two hands, it's very difficult to maintain balance and rhythm, and he lost his rhythm a little bit there. I'm not sure he was going to be able to throw out Longoria, but a tough play all the way around.
So there are 2 on with 2 outs for Carlos Pena, the first baseman. 4 home runs in the early going for Pena.
And last night, young Brett Cecil did an outstanding job against Pena. Struck him out a couple of times. Steady diet of breaking balls.
Outside corner, Romero jumps ahead.
And then he tapped weakly out in front of the plate the last time he faced Cecil last night, again on another good curveball. So it'll be interesting to see how Ricky Romero approaches Carlos Pena this evening.
No balls and a strike. 2 outs. There was a breaking ball and he couldn't hold. 0-2. We have said this about the young pitching staff early in this season. They don't get rattled. They don't allow plays behind them to affect them.
No, they really don't. And it was interesting in your interview with Ricky Romero. One of the things that he said that really jumped out at me is he said, just this year, don't panic. If something's not working, something doesn't go well for you, just keep pitching and keep your focus.
He's got to step off the mound and regroup a bit. John Buck flashed him a couple of signs, and sometimes you look in there and you just can't focus on things, so he chose to step off the mound. Way outside, and Buck keeps it in front of him.
You know, having been a former catcher, when you see a hitter that's having a lot of trouble with a particular pitch, such as Pena did last night with a curveball, so far the one curveball that he swung at in this at bat, he was well out in front of it, had no chance. Is that something you stay with, or does there become some concern that maybe he's made the adjustment and has decided to look for that pitch?
No, I think early on you have to stay with it, and you have to stay away, in my mind, the way he's flailing at those balls on the outside. Off-speed pitch, went upstairs with a changeup, and Ricky Romero, as he's done so often this year, pitches out of an early jam. No panic in Romero's approach. Gets Carlos Pena. Big strikeout with 2 on. We're scoreless after 1. Isn't an accident.
No, and we've seen Evan Longoria both days come out early and do extra work. And right here, this is just a drill that's for nothing more than just your hands. Using your hands to catch the baseball. And he uses a much smaller glove than he uses in a game. What that does is it forces you to focus. You can't be lazy with your mechanics. And that's key to catching the baseball.
Yeah, the Rays were out on the field before they started batting practice. Longoria at third along with Bartlett. They do those fielding drills. They take a series of bounced balls and then they go through that drill on their knees with the backhands. And you can see the normal size glove. But in pregame, he uses a very small glove just to focus on his hands. Vernon Wells swings at the first pitch from Neiman.
When I was in the minor leagues with the Angels, Bob Clear, who was a great instructor, a great baseball man, recently passed away. he used to make us infielders get out there, take ground balls with a very, very small glove, and it really forced you to do things correctly.
Another pop up behind home plate. Jaso over toward the Rays dugout, and he'll make the catch. 3 pop-ups early in this game suggests that Neiman's got a little extra skip on his fastball.
Yeah, that's always a sign that the fastball is getting on the hitters just a little bit.
While Overbay will step in the box. 1 out here in the second. We're scoreless. This is game 2 of a very short 3-game road trip for the Blue Jays. They'll go back home tomorrow after the game. Fastball away. Overbay. RBI double in the 4th inning last night with 2 outs. Knocked Vernon Wells in all the way from first base. Ball 2. That was a big RBI, and at the time it made it a 5-1 game. They would later add a 6th run on Aaron Hill's home run, and they needed every one of those. There's it was 6-5 at the end. To center field. Upton looked like he lost it momentarily, but then stayed with it. Picks up another fly ball out.
Well, it's interesting because last night the Jays had a number of occasions to put the Rays away, and they never could do it. They just, again, last night did not hit well with runners in scoring position, but those that one tack-on run in the 4th, the home run by Hill in the 6th, as it turns out, was enough in last night's ball game.
Again, 3 for 16 last night with runners in scoring position, and they stranded 11. Alex Gonzalez had another big night, very productive night at the plate. Another pop-up. Bartlett behind shortstop. Another quick inning for Jeff Neiman. 6 outs. Just 6 pitches in the second. You can meet Ricky Romero when Ricky signs autographs at the Jays shop at Sears and Young and Dundas. That'll begin Tuesday, April 27th at 10:30 a.m. Ricky will be signing autographs for an hour. For more details, log on to BlueJays.com. Meet Ricky Romero. B.J. Upton takes the first pitch strike. There's a ball inside. Upton had a big RBI base hit in the 8th inning last night. That was the 5th run and would ultimately be the final run that Rays would score. They'd fall a run short. The ball was just down. 2 balls and a strike. Hot mini streak for Upton. 3-gamer. There's a strike. 2-2. On the ground, but foul. B.J. Upton is physically as talented as anybody in the game for the things he can do on a baseball field. Truly a five-tool player.
He really is. He can run, throw, field, hit with power.
Just
very good base stealer.
Looking for some consistency. Back to Romero. Easy play over to first base, and there's one out. Well, you watch Ricky Romero pitch for a couple of games, and you'd think he's been pitching about 10 years, as cool and calm as he is on the mound.
Well, he just never seems to get excited or rattled about any situation.
I think we saw that with Brett Cecil last night. Although it was his first game of the season in the big leagues, the 17 starts he had a year ago gave him the confidence to go out there and really pitch a good ball game to open up this series.
He had the same type of demeanor as Ricky Romero does this evening.
First pitch strike to Willie Ibar in the DH spot tonight. Normally this would be a spot for Pat Burrell to DH against the left-hander, but Burrell's got a little bit of a back problem, and he was not available, at least in the early going. Now there's a great example. We've seen two curveballs tonight that have slipped out of Ricky's hand, but he continues to search for it, try to come up with a good breaking curveball. It's out of play.
And he has thrown two or three very good curveballs in this game. His next couple have slipped. But you know, what you have to really appreciate about Ricky Romero is he came to spring training with the idea that he was going to build and improve on what he did last year.
Another ball right back to Romero, and two ground balls back to the pitcher.
Well, we've talked about it. Romero, a very good athlete, feels his position very well. He most certainly helped himself out. That last ball hit back to him. If it gets past Romero, it's trouble. But last year, here you get a look at the ball. It's hit rather sharply, and he's able to make a play. Aaron Hill would have probably been able to get over and surround it, but once Romero flagged it, it became routine. But last year he had 13 wins. That was second among AL rookies. 16 quality starts. He was third in innings pitched with 178. That's, of course, for rookies. But not satisfied with that, was determined to come to spring training and improve and be better. And he, so far this year, is really on track to have an outstanding season.
Yeah, and you're always looking to improve and make adjustments, and Romero has done that early on. Dave Kapler to center. Brennan Wells with a good jump makes an easy play of it. 3 up, 3 down for Ricky Romero. Jose Bautista will start things off in the third. Great night last night. 3 doubles in his first 3 at bats.
independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Scoreless after 2 innings. Jose Bautista, the third baseman, will start things off. Jeff Neiman, the big right-hander, has retired 6 in a row to start this game. Bautista takes one up for a ball. Big night last night. He doubled in his first 3 at-bats, and he hit 3 bullets all to center. Neiman's in there for a strike, 1-1. Been red hot over his last 6 games.
Well, ever since he's moved down in the lineup, not concerned with taking pitches, been more aggressive, and it's really working for Bautista.
Fisted down the left field line. Longoria over to the wall and won't be able to make a play. Well, he has dropped down into more of a run-producing spot in the lineup. You'd like hitters to hit the same way no matter where they're hitting. He hasn't really been a leadoff hitter before.
But it only makes sense that oftentimes you take any hitter that is not used to hitting in the #1 spot and you put him in that leadoff spot. And, you know, the idea in his mind, the thought becomes, I have to take pitches.
Outside corner, strike 3. Bautista caught looking, and a Neiman pitch on the outside corner. Second strikeout of the night.
Looked like a good 2-seam fastball. Had some run to it. Started it off the plate, brought it back to the outside corner.
John Buck, the catcher. Ball down.
You talk about it in that leadoff spot. You know, some guys can take pitches and are comfortable doing that because they have a certain style that allows them to fall behind.
On the ground toward third. Foul ball.
But because maybe they have a short, compact swing, oftentimes it's a guy that slaps the ball up the middle into the opposite field so he can get behind and has something to fight his way back into the count with. More of a free swinger like a Jose Bautista, somebody that hits with power. It's really not his style to take pitches, constantly get behind in the count, and to try to have to battle back. You want him thinking, looking for something to drive when he gets it, be it first pitch or fourth pitch, let it go.
Vernon Wells doing a little work on the bat. Looked like he might just be taking some extra pine tar off that bat handle, getting a little bit built up. Another ground ball, broken bat in foul territory.
Well, we've seen some weak pop-ups. We've seen some balls in on the hands of these right-handed hitters of the Jays from Jeff Neiman. That's an indication not only is the velocity good, but the excellent late movement. And the hitter's having a lot of trouble centering the baseball.
John Buck's gone through a rough stretch over his last 7 games. Just 1 for 20. Strike 3 call. Boy, Neiman is in a groove early here. Painted the outside corner to Bautista and then Buck.
But with a different pitch. This is either a slider or a cut fastball, and a pitch that he had not shown John Buck in that at bat. And oftentimes when a hitter hasn't seen a pitch and you go to it to finish him off, it really fools him.
Travis Snyder, the right fielder. First pitch swinging and fouls it straight back. 8 up, 8 down for Jeff Neiman to start this game. Travis Snyder would love to get something going, hitting 132 at the start of play tonight. Well, there's a lot of movement on that fastball. Whether he cuts it or sinks it, it's just dodging and darting all over the place.
And the key is it's late. Very late movement.
On the ground. Bartlett to the backhand. Not in time. Good hustle by Travis Snyder. First base runner of the night. An infield single with 2 outs. Bartlett kind of waited back on the backhand.
Well, Jason Bartlett did everything correctly, but he wasn't in any hurry. Good strong throw. I think he might have underestimated the speed of Travis Snyder. You know, if you look at him and his build, you'd think he's probably doesn't run very well, but most certainly a little quicker than probably Bartlett thought. But he'll remember that. He'll learn his lesson, and it will not happen the next time.
2 outs, 1 on for Fred Lewis. Inside. Well, it would be very easy if you were Travis Snyder hitting a .132 to hit that ball to shortstop and say, well, there's just another out. But he didn't allow that to happen, and he got rewarded with an infield hit. Keep playing. You never know what might happen. Swing and pull down the right field line.
Excellent point. You know, when you're really struggling, it's real easy to maybe get down on yourself a little bit and not give it your best effort all the time. But good effort by Travis Snyder pays off in a base hit. And you know, a base hit's a base hit. You feel just as good about that as you would if it had been a ringing line drive.
A ball and a strike to Fred Lewis. There goes Snyder. Fouled straight back. Good jump at first base by Travis Snyder. When you're in against a tough pitcher, you kind of force the offense a bit.
Yes, you have to. You can't wait around for a big inning because it's probably not going to happen. And of course, again, you know, maybe taking Travis Snyder and his speed a little bit for granted. They forgot about him. He had a great jump. If the ball had not been fouled off, he'd have been safe at second base.
Breaking ball down in the dirt.
And then you always hate it when you line out to somebody and they get back to the dugout and they tell you, that a way to swing the bat, that a way to hit the ball. Don't forget that. I'd rather break my bat and have 3 guys diving for it and can't catch it.
Yeah, hang with him, get him next time. Yeah, right.
Sure.
2-2 now to Fred Lewis. Travis Snyder at first base on the infield hit. Snyder breaks, great jump, swing and a miss, strike 3. Fred Lewis strikes out. Neiman gives up a hit, but nothing else. Neiman has 4 strikeouts through 3 innings tonight. Series. Then the Athletics come to town for a 4-game series, Thursday, Friday nights, and then Saturday and Sunday afternoon. For tickets, 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com, or you can get tickets at most Rogers Plus locations. John Jaso takes the first pitch inside. Jaso was a late addition to the lineup as the starter, Dioner Navarro, was scratched sometime after batting practice. Navarro has a leg issue that knocked him out of the lineup. 2 balls and no strikes. Jaso came into the ball game last night in the 6th inning after Navarro had been ejected by the home plate umpire, Dan Bellino. There's a pop-up into foul ground outside of third. Bautista makes the out.
Well, and unfortunately for Navarro, he bumped home plate umpire Dan Bellino, and quite possibly could be looking at a suspension. And of course, that's not something that the Rays need. But
well, the ejection was really kind of unnecessary. Navarro had been pleading the case for his starter all night long, and boy, quick reaction and an ejection. There's a ground ball to shortstop, and Bartlett is retired. 2 quick outs here. But you're right, when a player makes contact with an umpire, that generally leads to a suspension. And Navarro, in his own words, said he kind of lost his cool last night. But you get into the heat of battle, and you try to help your pitcher out, getting some strikes called for him. And when you feel that one was missed after a night of buildup, you just kind of lost it. Good curveball into Crawford for strike 1. We're scoreless here, bottom of the 3rd inning. 2 down. Crawford, the left fielder, fights it off and fouls it back. Talk about B.J. Upton and what a marvelous athlete he is. This might be one of the best athletes in the game. Can do a lot of things except figure out Ricky Romero. Just 1 for 8 against Romero. Takes a breaking ball outside.
Well, there are a lot of hitters having trouble figuring out Ricky Romero. He has a lot of company right now, does Carl Crawford, when it comes to trying to figure out what to do against this man right here.
There's a changeup that missed just off the plate outside. Romero at the start of this game was leading the American League pitchers in opponents' batting average. The league hitting just 143 against Ricky Romero. Left field, that's going to get down for a hit. Great speed for Crawford. He's headed into second base, and it's a 2-out double for Carl Crawford.
Well, it's a very good pitch from Ricky Romero. Goes fastball away. He gets it out there in an excellent spot down. And you just have to give Carl Crawford a lot of credit. He gave in a little bit, hit the ball off the end of his back. And, of course, with his speed, he's going to be in the second base with no problem.
7th double of the season for Crawford. He's in scoring position with 2 outs, and Ben Zobrist coming to the plate. First pitch changeup for a strike. Zobrist had a opposite field base hit under the glove of Lyle Overbay in his first at bat.
There's a lot of people that really don't know a lot about Ben Zobrist, but he's a very good player.
Ground ball, Aaron Hill rights himself and throws out Zobrist. Ricky Romero has stranded 3 base runners tonight in the early going. Continues to make quality pitches. We're scoreless. Jersey and a seat upgrade. Benefits for the auction go to the Jays Care Foundation, an opportunity to throw out a first pitch to Joe Carter. Package includes that jersey, a seat upgrade, 2 in the action seats. You must have a ticket to participate, and minimum bids start at $500. That's Monday, April 26th. First pitch swinging, Aaron Hill pulls it foul. 2 at bats, 2 swings.
So you'd have to say he doesn't survey much, does he?
Now, he said the other day, yesterday when he came back, he said, if it's white and moving toward me, I'm cutting at it. 0-1 from Neiman. Popped out of play.
And you can tell he's just a little bit off with his timing. And of course, he did hit a home run last night, but we've seen him miss some pitches that normally Aaron Hill, when he's in a good groove, doesn't miss.
We're scoreless here in the 4th. Big Jeff Neiman has been in control. Another pop outside first base. Pena into the crowd and goes off his glove. Went as far as he could and leaned in a couple of rows and just got a piece of it, but couldn't get it in the webbing of that glove.
Well, it looked as if initially he might have been a little interference or trouble with a fan there. Might have deflected the baseball. Here we'll get a different angle. No, he just was unable to handle it. It initially, here's a good look at Aaron's reaction. He goes, oh, the dugout tells him, hey, he dropped it. It did look initially like Pena was going to be able to make the play without much problem. The ball just kept drifting towards the stands.
Breaking ball that he checked. Nope, he went too far. Mike Winters down at first base, rings up Aaron Hill. Tried to lay off that curveball, but couldn't do it.
And really the first time tonight we've seen the curveball from Neiman. And he does have a good one. But that fastball's had so much life, both the cutter and the two-seamer, that he really hasn't needed to use much of anything else.
Well, I like the way that Jaso, the catcher, has gone with the fastball early on. Why change? It's working so well. It's breaking to both sides of the plate, and use those breaking pitches sparingly. A ball and no strikes on the Jays DH. Swing and lifted into center. Upton, 2 outs.
Well, the best pitch in baseball always has been the fastball that is with good location, and most certainly Jeff Neiman is a perfect example of that here this evening.
Well, also at 6'9", we talk about the angle it creates, and it looks as though he's right on top of you as a hitter, and it's difficult to really track that baseball very effectively. I think I said 6'8", I believe it was 6'9". 2 outs. No score here in the 4th. First pitch strike to Wells. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. Boy, body language tells you all you need to know about a pitcher. He's rocking and firing, not wasting any time. Give me that ball back. 0-2 to Wells. Struck him out. Ball in the dirt. Jaso's throw to first in time. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Neiman. 6 in the night. The fastball has been great. Now he's starting to drop the hooks. On the field before the game during batting practice, then he takes a seat up in the seats. He told me the other day, he said, keep your eye on me because we got in at 4:30. I might nod off every once in a while. What a great baseball man. 62 years in the game. Don Zimmer. Evan Longoria takes the first pitch breaking ball in there for a strike. Quite a pitching duel here tonight. Jeff Neiman and Ricky Romero hooked up in a scoreless game. Outside, 2 balls and a strike to the leadoff batter here in the 4th. Outside. These two had faced each other way back in college, 2005. Ricky Romero was at Cal State Fullerton. Evan Longoria was at Long Beach State. So they have faced each other quite a bit going back to their collegiate days. Ball 4. Well, the defense will shift around for the left-handed hitter Carlos Pena. A dramatic pull shift, and defense is a huge part of a pitcher's success. And we saw that play out last inning with Ben Zobrist when they positioned him up the middle. Especially with defensive positioning, and of course all that comes from the play charts as to where a hitter has a tendency to hit the baseball. Here you see Aaron Hill move in to hold Carl Crawford, but from about right here, once Romero goes into his windup, he'll only shuffle a couple of steps away. The ball's hit, he's able to make the play, record the out, and save a run. If he's traditionally where he would have been trying to get back to, or trying to get back traditionally where you would play, that ball goes up the middle and it's a base hit and a run driven in for Zobrist. Yeah, defense is so important, and you go by the spray chart, just exactly where a hitter is hit against your specific pitchers. And the chart reflected it against Romero that Zobrist would hit the ball up the middle, and there was Aaron Hill. Pena takes the strike. Throw to first base. Brian Butterfield, who is the third base coach, one of his other duties, he has many, but one of them is that spray chart, hitters' tendencies, and he works very, very hard at it. It's a great example of how it pays off. And you can see how he's studying the positioning, and he's going to move the infielders around during the course of an at-bat. No balls and a strike to the first baseman, Carlos Pena. Down low for a ball, 1-1. But all of that defensive alignment will really be thrown out the window if a pitcher can't hit his spots and make the pitches that you were charting by. Which is also an advantage for a guy like Ricky Romero, because more often than not he hits the spot he's trying to get the baseball to, his location. You get an idea of Carlos Pena and how to defend him when you see a number of at-bats. Here's the spray chart. You can see mostly hits to the pull side of the diamond. But 3 opposite field hits. But what that doesn't tell you is that the ball in the air or the ball on the ground. And clearly, if you look at the defensive shift on the infield, when he pulls the ball, has much more of a tendency to hit it on the ground than if he does if he goes the other way. If the ball goes to the left field, you could probably say 9 out of 10 times the ball's in the air. That's why there's the big void on the infield on the left side. Even more dramatic now when Ricky Romero is behind 3 balls and a strike. First time this inning, Ricky Romero looks like that front side's flying open just a little bit. On the ground to second for 1, back to first, not in time. Little bobble by Alex Gonzalez, who was at the second base position on the shift. Had a little tough time getting the ball out of his glove. He got a little bit of an in-between hop and didn't handle it cleanly, and had a little trouble right here getting a grip on the baseball, and that was the difference at first base. Double play ball, but just a little bit slow developing. So the defense will return to the conventional infield positions for B.J. Upton. First pitch swinging and fouls it back. We're scoreless here, bottom of the 4th inning.
And if you're these Jays infielders, last year Ricky Romero led the league with 30 ground ball double plays. So he has the ability to make a quality pitch, keep the ball down, and get the double play ground ball.
The Blue Jays infield has turned 20 double plays so far this season in 17 games. Pena's at first. Romero has just lost his command a bit here in the middle innings.
But it just looks like everything is a little quicker right now than normal for Ricky Romero. That front shoulder flying open, and the arm can't quite catch up.
Good pitch. Just down around his ankles, and Upton got a piece of it. 2-2.
But a good example of his maturity here in this inning. Sometimes a younger pitcher begin to struggle a little bit with his mechanics and can't find the strike zone, have a tendency to maybe press a little bit, panic, and that'll lead to some real mistakes.
On the ground, shortstop Gonzalez quickly for the force out at second. Boy, he unloaded that ball in a hurry and threw right on the money to Aaron Hill covering the bag at second.
Ranging far to his right and realizing he need to get rid of it very quickly. He does with a lot on it. And an easy feed to Aaron Hill.
Boy, and he throws with so much confidence, and Hill has the knowledge of knowing that that ball's going to be right over the bag no matter where it comes from. 2 outs. Willie Ibar, the DH. Ball in the dirt, gets away from Buck all the way back to the screen. Upton, big line turn around first. He stops at second. Wild pitch charged to Ricky Romero.
It looked as if this is a pitch that John Buck should have been able to keep in front of him. His fastball down, and instead of dropping down on his knees and getting that glove down in front of him, that technique that we saw him actually working on prior to the start of this evening's ball game, tries to just glove it, and it gets away from him.
Cut on and missed by Ibar. A ball and a strike, 2 outs, another runner in scoring position.
You know, it's little things oftentimes that can determine the outcome of a baseball game, and sometimes just such as an occurrence that we just saw.
On the ground, little chopper to third. Batista throws on the move and gets Ibar. Again, Ricky Romero pitches out of a jam. He has stranded 4 so far. We're still scoreless. Jays.com. Sean will be chatting with the fans on all the 2010 topics, and you can ask him about the success of this young pitching staff early in the season. They have gotten off to a very good start. Sean Markham, chat. No score, top of the 5th inning. Lyle Overbay takes the first pitch ball. Jeff Neiman has allowed just 1 hit. That was a 2-out infield hit. Another pop-up. Left side. Out of play. As a matter of fact, that infield hit came in the 3rd inning. It was a 2-out base hit to the shortstop and could have very easily been a 6-3 out.
Yes, it could have. Bartlett underestimated the speed of Travis Snyder, so he ended up with a base infield hit. Only hit for Jays in this game. Neither one of these ball clubs really have hit a ball hard yet tonight. One that was, you could say, was really centered up. Both pitchers have been very good.
2-1 to Overbay. All the way back to the backstop. Yeah, both pitchers have really done a nice job of keeping the hitters off stride tonight. Neiman does it with the movement on his fastball. Ricky Romero does it with a combination of off-speed pitches and that great changeup. 3-2 now to Overbay, leading off the 5th. The start of this series, the Tampa Bay Rays starting staff led the majors with a .267 earned run average. Bringing a drive toward right. Kapler will watch it sail into the seats. Lyle Overbay with his first home run of the season gets the Jays out on top. 1-0.
Well, one of the few mistakes that Neiman has made here this evening is the ball that ends up pretty much right in the middle of the plate. And Lyle Overbay did not miss it.
A couple of good swings the last 2 nights. Tonight, the home run. Last night, an RBI double in the same location out there at right center. Jays out in front, 1-0. Alex Gonzalez pulls one foul. They had talked about how many balls in the air that Jays have hit. Most of them were pop-ups, but that time Overbay got on top of that pitch and drove it out of the yard. Ball is high for a ball, 1-1. 1-0 on Lyle Overbay's first home run of the season. Alex Gonzalez, we knew what kind of glove he had, but boy, has he gotten off to a great start with the bat.
Yes, he has. You compare the numbers after 17 games in 2009 and 2010. What really jumps out, average home runs 5, 13 RBIs.
Half swing tapper toward third. Longoria with plenty of time. Retires Gonzalez. And breaking ball from Neiman. Just a little check swing tapper. A lot of hitting conversation going on there. Dwayne Murphy, the hitting coach. John McDonald talking with Lyle Overbay. And you can bet they're singing the praises of Jeff Neiman. He's nasty.
Yes, he is. They're probably trying to form up some kind of a game plan. Where do you look? What do you look for? What side of the plate?
Bautista pulls one foul. And like you say, the only ball that was really squared up was Overbay's home run. And everything else, guys are in between, out in front, late on the fastball.
Well, he has 5 pitches that he can throw for strikes. He commands all of them very well. That's a lot of weapons for a pitcher.
And breaking ball gets Bautista. 7 strikeouts now for Jeff Niemann.
And it's awfully difficult for a pitcher to deal with, a hitter to deal with. Here you see the cut fastball goes away from him.
Well, it's very unusual for a pitcher to have command of 5 pitches. And that's what Joe Madden sees with his right-hander, Jeff Niemann. Madden compared him to Kelvin Escobar, who pitched with the Blue Jays and then later on went out to the Angels. And unfortunately, he's been hurt the last several seasons. But he was a guy like Niemann in that he had a great fastball, but he could command 5 different pitches. Ground ball to shortstop. Bartlett to Pena for the 3rd out. But the Jays break through against Jeff Niemann. A leadoff home run. First home run of the season for Overbay. 1-0 Jays. Starting rotations, and the age is really the important factor.
Yes, just 4 months separate the average age of these two staffs, at least in terms of their starting rotation. And of course, the rotation of this ball club over here, the Rays with a little more experience, having been to postseason play. But you would almost say that the Jays are taking really kind of the same approach that this Rays ball club has taken in order to build their ball club. And it all starts with pitching.
Well, the 5 starters in this year's rotation for the Rays, 3 of them did not play during the 2008 postseason run into the World Series. In fact, 2 starters were in the rotation. David Price was the closer 2008. So they've turned it over, but they maintain their young age in that rotation, and they continue to develop in their own system.
You draft those young arms, develop then, and then build around that starting staff.
Breaking ball upstairs. 2 balls and a strike to Gabe Kapler. Kapler with a 2-run home run last night off Brett Cecil. There's a shot toward left field. Fred Lewis jumps in off his glove, off the wall. Kapler around first, heads into second base. Fred Lewis got to it in pretty good shape, jumped, and I'm not sure if he got his glove on it or just beyond his reach, but Kapler has a leadoff double.
Well, it was a tough play, but it looked like Fred Lewis jumped a little bit early. Could have taken maybe one more step before he committed to try to catch the baseball, and it looked like he got up high enough. He just missed it. But it would have been a great catch if he'd have been able to make the play.
Well, he did a pretty good job of tracking that ball, given the fact that this is his second game in this ballpark. Had a little trouble here last night on a fly ball that got lost in the lights, but he was right on that one. But it's a double to start the inning. Gabe Kapler's at second for John Jaso. Lyle Overbay right down on top, and there's a drive toward right field. That ball is far enough. It is gone. John Jaso, a two-run home run, his first of the season, has put the Rays up 2-1.
Well, sometimes you figure a young catcher, it's a tough ball game. You anticipate that he's going to bunt. Clearly the Jays thought so. Lyle Overbay was really coming in hard from first base. So maybe the thought was, let's just throw a strike and get the out. It's a fastball up out of the plate, a mistake pitch, and it gets hit out of the ballpark.
First career home run for John Jaso. A late addition to the lineup. Takes advantage of the start. Gunnar Navarro was in the original lineup. He was a late scratch, and John Jaso comes up with his first career home run to put the Rays out in front. 2-1. Well, you're right. You talk about assuming that the number 9 batter, the catcher, was going to bunt. I think everybody in that Jays dugout, along with a lot of people in this ballpark, thought he was going to bunt. Little flare into right field, and that's going to get down safely. 3 consecutive hits for the Rays here in the 5th inning. A double, a homer, and a group single, and it looks like they got the ball from the fan. It's Bobby Ramos, the bullpen coach, walking back with the ball in his hand. They're able to retrieve that souvenir. So Bartlett's on at first. Carl Crawford doubled in his last at bat. Swinging a drive toward right field. Travis Snyder on the warning track. He's got room and makes the catch. Rays have jumped on Ricky Romero here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Crawford just missed hitting another 2-run home run.
Well, for the first time in this ball game, in the bottom of the 4th, Ricky Romero struggled with his command just a little bit. And that's been a problem here in this inning. Although he hasn't been missing off the plate, it's been wildness in the strike zone. Made a mistake to Kapler. He got hit off the wall in left field. Of course, the ball that Jaso hit out of the ballpark, and then the last pitch, definitely a mistake to Carl Crawford, and he just missed leaving the yard.
Overbay shows bunt, pulls it back.
Yeah, there's 2 types of wildness. One where you're out of the strike zone, and then the other where you're borrowing too much of the plate, too many mistake pitches.
Look at these numbers. This is coming into tonight's game. First time through the order, Ricky Romero against the league, 077. Then they made some adjustments. He's still not getting hit hard. I mean, that just shows you how dominant he has been, even through the 3rd time through the batting order.
Oftentimes, you get to that 3rd time through with a lot of pitchers, you see averages jump up to 280, 300. So 227 after you've seen him a couple of times, that's still excellent number.
And it'll get you deep into a ball game without giving up much offense. Bartlett, a threat to steal. There's a strike that evens it count at 1-1.
You pitch an entire season and the league hits 227 against you, you're going to have a good year.
Yeah, you're going to win a lot of games. 2-1 Rays. All the scoring here in the 5th. There's a bunt right in front of home. That's dead in the dirt, and now Buck's going to have to go to first. Boy, that ball just dropped dead in its tracks right in front of home. He looked at second base and then decided he might not have enough time, so he took the out at first. He may have had more time than he thought.
Well, there was going to be a little bit of a gamble to try to go to second base to get Bartlett, who runs well.
Watch this ball stop right in the dirt.
He's able to reset and get the out at first base. But a great example. You've got a ball club here in this Rays ball club. They can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but they still never forget about the other part of the game, the speed, the bunt. If Zobrist gets that ball down the third baseline, they're first and second, and they're in business right now. So, you know, they take advantage of all of the tools and weapons that they have.
Well, they know this. Jay staff has pitched very well. Ricky Romero gets a little visit from Bruce Walton, but Joe Maddon will just absolutely evaluate the game where he's at that point. Sense that Ricky Romero can be a tough opponent. Runs might be tough to come by. Just trying to add some insurance there. And he will give Zobrist the option to bunt on his own in those situations. So 2 outs now. Bartlett in scoring position at second. That ball down.
I think Bruce Walton just went out there to visit with Romero. Wanted to make sure that everybody's on the same page. What do we want to do here? We have first base open. We have a left-hander in Pena on deck. Most certainly Pena is a dangerous hitter, but you have to believe they like that matchup better than this one right here.
Ball 2 down.
So let's make sure that we don't give in and make a mistake to Longoria.
Well, how many young pitchers, and Ricky's a second-year pitcher, would be given that opportunity, and now they're going to go ahead and walk him. But most young pitchers, you wouldn't even let him throw those first 2 pitches. You just say 4, we're going to put him on. Wow, almost caught Bartlett napping. But Ricky Romero has the confidence of his pitching coach. Hey, throw 2 balls down. If he chases, we might get out of it. There aren't many young pitchers I'd feel comfortable saying that to.
No, because then you run the risk that a young pitcher makes a mistake and he gets hit out of the ballpark, and now you're down 3.
So it's the percentage move. Walk the right-hander with 2 outs and a base open, and work to Pena. So before they attacked Pena, John Buck went to the mound. Just a little last-minute encouragement. Pena struck out with 2 on in the first, hit into a fielder's choice in the 4th. Had a red-hot road trip. 10 for 35 on the road trip with 3 homers and 14 RBI over the 10 games. Ricky Romero, 2 on, 2 outs.
So you just hope when you catch the Rays that Pena is not swinging the bat well, because when he gets in a streak, he hits home runs in bunches.
Curveball swung on and missed.
And I honestly say this is kind of going away from the baseball side of things, but I don't think I've ever met a more respectful young man than Carlos Pena. I mean, he's just a pleasure. I said hello to him today. He goes, "How are you, sir?" And I couldn't speak for a little bit. It kind of locked me up.
Caught you off guard, huh? No balls and a strike to the Rays' first baseman. Just missed with another breaking ball. Evens the count at 1-1. Carlos Pena led the American League in home runs. He was tied with Mark Teixeira of the Yankees at 39.
Well, they've thrown him a steady diet of breaking pitches the last 2 nights. You almost feel at some point you need to show him a fastball, even if it's off the plate, just to keep him honest, because any hitter, even when he's struggling, if you go to the well once too often, he might decide, you know what, you might throw me something else, but I'm going to take that curveball away from you at this point in at bat, and you get it in a pretty good spot, and he still hits it hard. So You can see with 2 strikes, he has really struggled. Just 2 for 22.
A ball and 2 strikes. He struck him out. Ricky Romero minimizes the damage. But John Jaso hits his first career home run, a 2-run home run to right to erase a 1-0 lead. Rays are up 2-1.
Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Travis Snyder takes the ball as he leads off the 6th inning. There's a strike to even the count at 1-1. Snyder got the first hit of the night off of Jeff Neiman. Neiman had retired 8 in a row before Snyder got the infield hit. Another swinging bunt up the first baseline. Snyder's retired. Jeff Neiman was knocked out of the game in his first start. He'd retired the first 4 batters of the game against the Orioles on the 8th of April. And then Miguel Tejada hit a rocket right back at the mound and hit Neiman in the right shoulder. He would leave the game. But his next 2 starts, both against American League East teams, he went 7 innings in both starts. Back up the middle behind second. Bartlett gloves it to first in time. Fine defensive play by the Rays shortstop Jason Bartlett, showing great range, good balance, and a strong arm.
Outstanding play, ranging far to his left, and with the speed of Lewis, had to get rid of it quickly. Did, with a lot on it. Just great defensive work by Jason Bartlett.
2 quick outs now for Aaron Hill. Hill 0 for 2. He finally took a pitch. He's been hard charging tonight. He just wanted to see what was happening after 2 quick outs, and Neiman falls behind the ball and no strikes. Ball 2. We talk about the presence of Aaron Hill back in the lineup, and pitchers really recognize what he did a year ago and what a good hitter he is, so they pitch him very carefully. Just on in the corner. And then, of course, when you become defensive and just try to pitch around the guy, Hill in the second spot sets things up for Lind and Wells behind him. Another ball down. 3 balls and a strike. Here's where Hill really has to fight the urge to go out and do something dramatic. Make sure you get a good pitch here. Counts in your favor.
And make sure this is the one you want to hit.
Hard on the ground through the infield for a base hit. A 2-out single for Aaron Hill. He's aboard. Good at bat. Got the pitch he was looking for and pulled it sharply through the left side.
One of the few times tonight where it's been a hitter's count against Jeff Neiman, and Aaron Hill gets the Jays' 3rd hit. And there's no better fastball hitter in the league than Aaron Hill. I don't care how hard you throw. You have to throw him a fastball. He can get to it.
Adam Lynn with 2 outs and a man on. Takes the first pitch strike.
You know, we took a look at the spray chart yesterday of Adam Lynn. There's 1 hit to left field, 1 to center field, and I believe 16 to right field. And really, if he's going to get going again and have the kind of year that he did last year, he needs to get back to using the entire ballpark.
Off the plate outside.
Because he has the ability to drive the ball to left and to center and hit it out of the ballpark. A lot of extra base power. Also, you know, some of this may be a result of the fact that Aaron Hill hasn't been in the lineup for a long time. Maybe he's pressing a little bit, trying to pull and hit the ball out of the ballpark a little too much. Try to carry the load.
But you can see how the Rays outfield is playing him the way he normally hits. Slightly shaded opposite. Carl Crawford, the left fielder, is straight away, but B.J. Upton on the opposite side of second.
And if you look at the infielders, they're pretty much, for a left-handed hitter, they would definitely be pretty much straight up. You might say the second baseman is a step pull maybe, but other than that, they're straight up on the infield.
Cut on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Blue Jays DH, Adam Lynn. The Rays lead it 2-1. Breaking ball just missed inside. 3-2. Jays reminding the infielders the runner at first will be on the move. Carlos Pena moves behind Hill at first base.
Well, it's interesting. Will he give in a little bit here? 3-2 to Adam Lynn with Vernon Wells on deck, the way he's been swinging the bat, or do you really try to make that perfect pitch?
Swinging a drive left field. Carl Crawford's got good speed. He's back to the wall. It is gone. Home run. Opposite field, Adam Lynn. 4th home run of the season. And that's the Adam Lynn that we saw last year. Opposite field power.
Well, and when he's using the entire field, he's a dangerous, dangerous hitter. This is a pretty good pitch. And he just lets it travel and goes out and gets it. That pitch was most certainly on the corner, maybe slightly off the plate. Great effort by Carl Crawford, but the ball out of the ballpark. You can see the reaction there of Jeff Neiman. He thought for a minute that Crawford was able to come down with it.
The Blue Jays have retaken the lead at 3-2. Vernon Wells cuts on the first pitch and pops it on the infield. Jason Bartlett retires Wells, but Adam Lynn going opposite field, his 4th home run, a 2-run home run, as the Blue Jays regain the lead. this game, and he has pitched very well. But you know, down in that dugout, those teammates were saying, "Come on, let's get Ricky some runs."
Well, you know, probably coming into the ball game tonight, they say, you know, it's about time we break out a little bit and score some runs for Ricky Romero. And you know, 3 is not a lot, but Romero probably feels like it's been a tremendous offensive output for him tonight.
I mean, a pretty good line through 5 innings, just a couple of walks, 3 strikeouts, but the big number, 6 stranded. He's left 6 Rays on base.
Made a lot of quality pitches when he needed to.
And you know, it's so often we'll talk about pitchers going to the mound maybe 7, 8 times during the course of a season when everything's working. And tonight, Ricky's really had the grind. Right back to Romero. 3rd time tonight he's helped himself out on a little comebacker and picks up the first out. Boy, this is a big inning for Romero. Throw up a 0 quick and get your hitters back up to the plate.
It really is. And this last play by Romero, if you go off his reaction, it wasn't so much athleticism as the ball just happened to go right into his glove. Here we'll get a look at the reaction from Ricky Romero. The ball hit fairly sharply, and it's like, oh, I got it.
Had it all away. Every once in a while you need that ball to jump in your glove. 1 out here, bottom of the 6th inning. These two clubs traded 2-run home runs. The last, Adam Lynn's 4th of the season. All of the runs scoring tonight have come on home runs. Ground ball deep in the hole. Gonzalez double clutch and wide of the mark. Didn't come out of his glove cleanly with that baseball. A double clutch still had time to get Ibar, but threw it wide at first. It'll be an error charge to the shortstop.
Well, he looked like initially he was going to just try to flip it underhanded very quickly over to first base, then realized, hey, I have a little more time, decided to try to set himself and make a strong overhand throw. And unfortunately, he pulls Overbay off the bag. You could tell by his reaction he was not happy with himself.
Gabe Kapler hit a double off the top of the left field wall. In the 5th, that was ahead of John Jaso's home run. Kapler just missed hitting a home run himself. Laid off a high pitch. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, Gabe Kapler, going back to last night's game, he homered last night's game, was a big factor. Would later walk and score on a double. And he's been in the mix in this ball game. He's kind of been a thorn in the side of the Jays in these first 2 games here in Tropicana Field.
On the ground is short. Gonzalez, Hill, Overbay, double play. Gonzalez got the chance he was looking for. Hit me the ball. Double play. Jays lead it 3-2. On Rogers Sportsnet. Tomorrow it starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Pitching matchup, Brandon Marr, the right-hander, fresh off his first win in a Jays uniform against the left-hander, David Price. Good pitching matchup in the series finale. Had a heck of a pitching matchup here tonight, as both Ricky Romero and Jeff Neiman have gotten off to a great start, but the hitters have finally come through. All the runs scoring, all 5 have come on home runs. While Overbay hit one of those home runs back in the 5th. That started the scoring. Pitch outside for ball 1. Overbay had an RBI double in last night's game. In his first home run of the season here tonight. Out in front of a pitch, pulled on the ground.
Well, one of the few mistakes that Jeff Neiman has made here this evening, a 3-2 fastball to Lyle Overbay, and he didn't miss it. And at the time gave the Jays a 1-0 lead in this ball game.
Back up the middle, another base hit for Overbay. Right over the head of Jeff Neiman into center. Overbay's 2 for 3. Alex Gonzalez started that inning-ending double play after he committed the error. Got a chance to redeem himself and did immediately. Outside. Gonzalez a long look down at the third base coach Brian Butterfield, just in case they decide to play hit and run. Outside, ball 2. Now they're going to call timeout. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, has bounced out of the dugout.
So you'd have to think in this visit that maybe Jim Hickey has picked up a little something in terms of mechanics, or maybe there's been a little bit of a breakdown and just wants to go out and discuss things with Jeff Neiman.
Well, the pitch count is in good shape, just 74 pitches, and Jim Hickey just saw something that he thinks might help get Neiman back in that good delivery, and Neiman got off to such a great start in this ball game. He retired the first 8 batters he faced.
Well, I say that only because it's not a situation where you would talk about how you want to pitch a certain hitter or the situation.
High fastball, Gonzalez chased. Well, you have to remember, as good as both of these pitchers have pitched tonight, they're just in their second major league season. So as Neiman gets more experience, he will be able to make in-game adjustments himself without having Hickey to come out to the mound. Both of these pitchers won 13 games in their rookie season, and you can see why. They're both poised, they have confidence, and they've got good ability. Breaking ball missed.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Ricky Romero was second in innings pitched last year in American League rookies, behind guess who? Jeff Neiman, who pitched 180 2/3 innings last year.
Three and 1 to Alex Gonzalez. Right on the upper limits of the strike zone, 3 and 2.
But it's interesting, Matt Garza, of course, has great stuff, electric arm. But Cito Gaston, he has said he feels that Jeff Neiman is actually the best pitcher that they have their rotation, and he most certainly is that. He is a pitcher. He will carve you up.
3-2. There goes Overbay. Swing and a miss. The strikeout. Throw to second base is late, not in time. Neiman picks up the strikeout, his 8th. Jaso double clutched the ball a bit, and that caused him to make a late throw to second. Overbay gets the steal.
Well, there's no question that the reason Overbay is safe at second base is he couldn't find the handle, and that allowed Overbay a couple of extra steps, and he has a stolen base.
Jose Bautista, a strikeout victim twice tonight. Breaking ball, and you can see they are well aware of Bautista's tendencies to jump on the first pitch.
Well, they've used the breaking ball off-speed pitch effectively with Bautista tonight, but interesting enough, last night 2 of his hits were off-speed pitches. Of course, they were mistakes and up in the strike zone.
Look at Bautista's numbers according to where he hits in the lineup. First or second, he's at 175. Bottom of the order, up over 300 with some damage. Just missed inside. Looked like that ball was coming around the corner. 2 balls and a strike to Jose Bautista. Bautista, hitting in the top of the order, thought more about getting on base than he did driving in runs.
Yeah, he was taking a lot of good pitches to hit. Not comfortable in doing so. But you put him down in that 7th, 6th, or 7th spot in the lineup, and it kind of changes his approach altogether mentally. That's to be more aggressive. And so far, it has worked very, very well.
2 balls, 2 strikes on the Blue Jays' third baseman. Overbay at second with 1 out. Ball down.
You know, there are those that, you know, have the ability or the mentality, if you will, to be a leadoff hitter, hit in that spot in the lineup. You know, just as there's some guys you can put them in the 4 spot and they can handle it. Some guys you put them in the 4 spot even though they're a good hitter, they can't, because for whatever reason their mental approach changes and they lose their effectiveness.
It's funny how different positions in the lineup come with labels. The 3 hitter is traditionally your best hitter. The 4 hitter is your RBI guy. 3-2 to Bautista. Check swing up the first baseline. First time tonight, bullpen activity. Left-hander Randy Choate loosening up. Another 3-2 pitch to Bautista. We're in the 7th. Hit him. Bautista's on board. Neiman really got on top of that and kind of just steered it right into the hitter. So 2 on now for John Buck.
And he was really upset with himself. Let that pitch get away from him and hit Bautista. That has to be very frustrating for a pitcher. And he feels like the pitch that he wants to throw is the one to finish a hitter off. And then the next thing you know, you've messed around, let it get away from you, and now you've put yourself in a little bit of a difficult position.
Catcher John Buck. Had some misses the first pitch. High off-speed pitch. Blue Jays have only stranded 1 base runner tonight. They've only had 5 hits. Neiman hasn't walked a batter. He just hit Bautista. Foul back 0-2.
And might have gotten away with one there. He wanted to go inside on the hands of John Buck, and the ball ended up, it was down, but out over the plate.
Out in front, 0-2. Overbay at second, Bautista at first. Breaking ball hit to center field. Upton's calling for it. And Buck is retired. 2 outs now for Travis Snyder. Randy Schote, the left-hander, is ready and waiting in the bullpen.
Well, it's an interesting situation, isn't it?
This would be a tough time to take Neiman out of this game.
It really would. You have Schote ready down in the bullpen. That may have been just in the event that John Buck would have reached or gotten a base hit. Then he might, Joe Madden might have went to Schote. But he's going to choose to leave Neiman in this ballgame to face Snyder.
Breaking ball outside.
And sometimes a manager will do just in the event that things, you know, break a certain way, then he's prepared for it and can make the change.
But Neiman certainly has pitched to stay in this game. Travis Snyder takes ball 2. You can see Jim Hickey walk past the manager, Joe Madden, and then confirm that Schote's ready.
And he's, you know, again, if for some reason Neiman fails to retire Snyder, he probably sees Schote to face Lewis.
There's a strike. 2 balls and a strike. Jays are batting with 2 outs in the 7th. They lead at 3-2. Adam Lynn's 4th home run of the season, a 2-run shot in the 6th, the difference in this game. Batter cuts and misses a fastball. 2-2. Now Brent Balfour, the right-hander, has taken Schote's spot down in the bullpen. Schote and Balfour now both throwing down in the Rays bullpen. Left-handed hitting Fred Lewis on deck. Should Snyder keep it alive? Outside. Full count. The runners will be off on the pitch. Full count, 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. There go the runners. Inside, he walked it. First walk of the night issued by Jeff Neiman. And here comes Joe Madden. He's made the call. He wants the left-hander. Randy Schote will come on to face Fred Lewis. Bases are loaded. Jays up 3-2. Lewis.
Randy Schote appeared in last night's ball game, pitched 2/3 an inning. And one of the hitters that he faced last night in the ball game was Lewis.
Fred Lewis hit a leadoff double in the 8th inning down the right field line. Bases loaded, big numbers for Fred Lewis, including a couple of grand slams.
Threw 15 pitches in last night's ball game, did Randy Schote, 9 of them for strikes.
Fouled off the first pitch.
And it's interesting, last night that double came off a breaking pitch that Fred Lewis kept his hands back and hit it hard just inside the bag at first base, and the first pitch was a good running fastball in on his hands here tonight.
So far what we've seen from Fred Lewis, he's a better down than up hitter, and he handles that off-speed pitch pretty well.
Yes, he does. See him get a couple of hits off left-handers, breaking balls.
Fouled back, 0-2.
And hard running in on the half.
Randy Schote way out in front of Fred Lewis. Trying to keep it a 1-run game. This is where you protect the plate. 0-2, just try to put the ball in play. A couple of runs here will be a pretty big lead late in the ball game. He struck him out. Randy Schote gets his man. He comes on to face Fred Lewis and gets a big strikeout. Strands the bases loaded and keeps it a 1-run game. Big sweeping breaking ball. 3-2 Jays.
Two-thirds tonight, he gave up 3 runs. They were all earned. 8 strikeouts, total of 95 pitches. There was a solo home run to Lyle Overbay and a 2-run home run to Adam Lind. And the man at the plate hit a 2-run home run off Ricky Romero, and that's the scoring for tonight.
John Jaso. There's a strike to even the count at 1-1. Jaso hit his first major league home run in his last at bat, that 2-run home run. That gave the Rays a very short-lived lead. In a bunting situation, he was given the green light.
And he took advantage of it.
inside. He checked in time. That evens the count of 2-2. Ricky Romero working here in the 7th. Scott Downs, the left-hander, starting to loosen up. Ball 3.
Well, isn't it something? You hit a home run off a pitcher, and then the next at bat you get a lot more respect. Steady diet of breaking balls, a good curveball that Romero possesses. You need to throw a strike here. 3-2.
Missed. Looks like he threw a 3-2 changeup and just missed up out of the zone. Leadoff walk here in the 7th.
Cito Gaston discussing the situation with his pitching coach Bruce Walton.
Obviously Downs is throwing in the bullpen with Carl Crawford in mind. Crawford's on deck.
Now this may be a situation where in the 7th inning the Rays might go ahead and bunt that runner along, and then
now John Buck's going to take some time to help Ricky Romero regroup a bit. But if you bunt with Bartlett here, then you allow the Blue Jays to go to the left-hander Downs to face Carl Crawford to really minimize the impact of the bunt.
Well, but you at least give yourself in Crawford and Zobrist 2 chances to try to tie the ball game up. You have to feel like at this point, for me, sometimes you have to manage like here in the 7th inning. You may not get another opportunity in the 8th or 9th. You can't play it that way. The Jays have a lot of depth in their bullpen. Joe Madden knows that.
Cut on and missed by Bartlett. Another thing that factors in is the possibility that Deoner Navarro can't catch. He was scratched from the lineup initially. John Jaso came in, so if they wanted to pinch run now, they would take their catcher out of the game, so that probably forces their hand a bit as well. Two balls and a strike now to Jason Bartlett.
But now you do have the count in your favor, 2-1. So if you choose to do so, if you're Joe Madden right here, you can play a little hit and run. You've got a guy at the plate that handles the bat well. If nothing else, you could stay out of a potential double play. Be another way to maybe move that runner along.
Threw it away. Jason is going to go to second at least. He's getting the go-ahead. He's headed for third to throw in to the cutoff man, and now you don't have to worry about a bunt or a hit and run. It's a huge error by Ricky Romero.
Well, it really is, especially with a runner at first base that is not really a threat to run. Tried to catch him leaning towards second and just threw it right into the runner. No chance for Overbay. And
Overbay did everything he could do, tried to knock that ball down with his body, but it was just so wide. It's a 2-base error, and now that changes the complexion dramatically. Infield has to come in on the edge of the grass. No outs here. 3-2. Blue Jays are up.
And the only way that Jaso is going to be running off of first base is in the event of a hit and run, which clearly means you make sure the pitcher goes to the plate.
Fly ball right field. Long run for Snyder. He's on the move and makes the catch. Jaso halfway, retreats to third.
Well, an outstanding play by Snyder. Earlier in the ball game, Bartlett, the jam shot, dumped it right in front of him, and it looked like Travis Snyder may have shortened up a little bit, and right field got an excellent jump. He was able to make the play.
You can see that Ricky Romero is going to work to Carl Crawford right here. That's no doubt about it in Cito Gaston's mind. He wants to find out what he's got in Ricky Romero. You got yourself into this? Let's see if you can get out of it.
Get yourself out.
One out, Carl Crawford. Breaking ball around the plate for a ball.
Yeah, it's interesting. Last June 27th, Carl Crawford appeared in his 1,000th career game. Over that period, 341 stolen bases, 87 triples, and there's only been one major leaguer in history accomplished that in his first 1,000 games. And he turned out to be pretty good.
Who was that?
Ty Cobb.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was pretty good, and Crawford's in that same category with his ability with his legs. And you can see the numbers. 450 with runners on. He really focuses in these situations.
And as a hitter, you always love to hit in a situation where that infield's drawn in.
1-1 to Crawford. Just around the plate again with that breaking ball. See the infield right on the edge of the artificial turf here. And Kyle Crawford hits some wicked ground balls. 3-2 Blue Jays lead it, 1 out.
And the range of your infield is greatly diminished.
Looked like he took something off and had Crawford out in front.
Good changeup it looked like from Ricky Romero. Good two-seam changeup. It had some sink to it late. It's a good pitch to go to try to get a ground ball.
2-2. Jaso at third. Represents the tying run. Oh, he got a piece of it. That was the emergency hack if I've ever seen one. He just barely got a piece of it to stay alive. Quite a battle.
Well, this is just an emergency hack. Almost looked like he was anticipating something hard in. He was kind of bailing, and at the last moment the pitch is away from him.
Well, he fought off that high breaking ball.
You almost sense with 2 strikes he's not going to get caught looking.
Yeah, it looks like he's in his swing mode right now.
He is. He's in the hack mode right now.
There's a ribby out there 90 feet away, and I'm swinging.
I'm not going to get caught looking.
2-2. Carl Crawford. Takes one down. Full count. Right back to the Romero. He gloves it, chases Jaso back, and throws to first. What a play. And the presence of mind to check the base runner.
Well, he's a good athlete, isn't he? He bounces off the mound. This is not an easy play when you consider the speed of the hitter at the plate, Crawford. And he does quickly check that runner at third on to first to record the out. And boy, if he can wiggle out of this one right here, be a great job of pitching by Ricky Romero.
And a tremendous boost of confidence from the manager. 2 outs now for Ben Zobrist. First pitch strike.
But it's interesting, even in an RBI situation, Bautista is playing even with the bag at third, respecting the fact that Zobrist might drop down a bunt. Now he's backed off a little bit.
Ball in there blocked by John Buck. That's a concern. Ricky Romero threw a wild pitch in this game. That was his 6th of the season. So you can bet Tom Foley down at third has reminded Jaso, hey, don't get caught with a short lead here. The Blue Jays have thrown 12 wild pitches this year. A ball and a strike to the number 3 hitter, Ben Zobrist. Romero takes too much time. 3-2 Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 7th. 2 outs. Breaking ball popped up. Foul territory. Bautista will glove it, and Romero gets out of it. Ricky Romero, a leadoff walk into the 7th, but has stranded 7 base runners. 3-2 Blue Jays.
Let the bidding begin.
Back here at Tropicana Field we go to the 8th inning. Ricky Romero has been marvelous. Been able to pitch out of jams all night long. He walked the leadoff batter, John Jaso, made an error that allowed Jaso to go to third, and you can see he's being congratulated by the manager, Cito Gaston. That's probably the end of the night, and what an effort. 7 innings, and certainly not his best outing, but maybe shows his mettle by pitching around so many situations. He's stranded 7 base runners here tonight. Terrific job.
Yes, and for him to put himself in the situation that he did in the bottom of the 7th by that throwing error to put the runner at third and nobody out. Come back, get a pop-up, weak ground ball, and a pop-up. I think clearly tells us all we need to know about Ricky Romero and his intestinal fortitude and determination.
Lance Cormier on to work the 8th, throws a ball down to Aaron Hill for ball 1.
And his maturity. A lot of young pitchers, a lot of pitchers, period, in that situation would have never escaped.
Right into the glove of Longoria. Great reactions. That ball was headed down the left field line into the corner, but Longoria speared it for the first out.
Well, Aaron Hill hits it right on the nose, but unfortunately for him, to a Gold Glove third baseman, and another outstanding defensive play by Evan Longoria. That looks fairly routine, but if you mistime that jump just a little bit, you miss it.
Big hit of the night came from this man, Adam Lynn. Opposite field home run in the 6th inning, a 2-run shot. Put the Jays up 3-2. Down the right field corner. This will go into the corner. Lynn's around first base. Kapler digs it out, but Lynn will coast into second with a 1-out double.
Oh, this is textbook Adam Lynn. When he's going well, he takes that fastball up to center and to left field with authority, and then you make a mistake with the breaking ball. The hands stay back, and he pulls it, drives it hard down into the right field corner.
Wasn't a bad pitch down around the knees with the breaking ball, but he stayed back, had a good look at it, and ripped it down the right field line. Lynn's at second for Vernon Wells. Takes the first pitch strike from Cormier.
And that play by Longoria on the line drive off the bat of Aaron Hill looks real big right now, doesn't it?
Saved a run. Back up the middle, and there's the second baseman, Zobrist, right behind the bag to throw out Vernon Wells. Another example of good positioning.
Again, the spray chart pays dividends.
Dan Wheeler loosening up for the Rays. While Overbay's had a big night at the plate, 2 for 3 with a home run, his first of the season. That started the scoring. First run of the ball game. His home run led off the 5th. Both clubs with 6 hits. They're going to put Overbay on with the career matchup number in his favor. He's 5 for 8 against Cormier, so they're going to issue the free pass and rattle the cage of Alex Gonzalez. Quite a pitching matchup to start this game. Ricky Romero and Jeff Neiman were hooked up in a scoreless tie going into the 5th, and then Overbay's home run would put Romero out in front. He would give up a 2-run home run to John Jaso, and then in the next half inning, Adam Lynn hit a 2-run home run, and that's where we stand, 3-2 now.
But it's interesting what numbers will do.
Now Joe Madden is going to bring in another right-hander. He likes the matchup. You're going to call upon Dan Wheeler with Runners at the corners and 1 out. 2 outs. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. Music provided by Universal Canada. Dan Wheeler, the 4th Rays pitcher of the night, will come on to face Alex Gonzalez. If you're wondering why they went right-hander to right-hander, it was the matchup that Joe Madden saw.
Yeah, and I was going to touch on it before Madden came out to make this change, the fact that he walked Overbay because he is 5 for 8 lifetime against Cormier. And although Overbay has struggled, the guy at the plate's been on a pretty good run. The guy at the plate also was 5 for 6 against Cormier, so he walks Overbay and brings in Wheeler to pitch to Gonzalez. So it's interesting how matchups will influence what a manager does.
And Gonzalez just 3 for 13 against Dan Wheeler. So managers will go percentages in a tight ball game. Alex Gonzalez behind a ball and no 1 strike. Strike 2 with a breaking ball. Big insurance runs on the bases. 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. In the dirt and blocked. Peel at first base. Mike Winter said no, he didn't swing. A ball and 2 strikes. The ball in the dirt, blocked by Jaso.
Yeah, good job by the young catcher the last 2 pitches, especially that last one. It bounced well out in front of the plate. That's always a tough one to keep in front of you, but he was textbook. This is a fine play.
He bent over at the waist and played it off his chest protector and really deadened it and kept it right at his feet. 2-2 pitch coming to Alex Gonzalez. Strike 3 call. Outside corner. Gonzalez didn't like the call. Wheeler gets the strikeout. Ricky Romero in line for his 2nd win of the season. Dan Wheeler goes to the fastball and catches Gonzalez looking. stays with him a long time. He stayed with Ricky Romero in the 7th inning. He did the same thing to Romero in his first start down at Texas, game 3 of the season. Ricky Romero in the 7th threw a wild pitch for the only run of the ball game. Cito Gaston came to the mound. Romero thought that Gaston was going to take him out of the game and started to walk around the manager. Cito held his hand up and said, "Wait a minute, young man, this is your game." Left him in the game, and he lost a tough 1-0 game.
And you could argue the point that that was the reason why Ricky Romero, part of the reason why he was so tough in this ball game, and especially in the bottom of that 7th inning, is because he knows everybody, including his manager, has a lot of confidence in him, and he probably...
Scott Downs to Longoria.
The thought never crossed his mind that maybe they're going to make a change now. Nope. I'm going to leave you out here and let you get yourself out of it. And he most certainly did that.
Longoria takes the pitch down and away for ball 2.
Well, and with some of these young pitchers, you know, they're most certainly going to leave them out there in situations and let them learn. Figure out how to get yourself out of trouble.
Popped up down the right field line toward the bullpen, and it'll be on Travis Snyder.
Yeah, the only way you're going to gain the experience and learn how to survive when you don't have your best stuff or when you're in a jam is you have to stay out there and experience it and learn. And the only way you're really going to find out as a manager or an organization what type of pitcher or player that you have is you have to stay with them. Give them a chance to prove to you they can either can or they can't.
2-1 to Longoria. Another pop-up down the right field line. Overbay gives chase, but it'll be back into the seats. Casey Jansen appears to be ready, just tossing the ball to stay loose down there. He's thrown, he's ready. Should there arise a situation where he's needed. 1-run game. Scott Downs on to work the 8th. Downs pitched a 1/3 of an inning in last night's game. Back up the middle, base hit. Longoria, big turnaround first. They better get it back in, and he has to retreat quickly. Ricky Romero is in position for his 2nd win of the season. Another strong 7-inning performance.
And he really showed his maturity here this evening. It was not an easy go for him. 7 innings, just the 2 earned runs, those coming off a 2-run home run off the bat of the catcher Jaso. Total of 105 pitches.
Carlos Pena, you can see the shift now on. In a similar situation last night, Zobrist ran with Longoria at the plate, even though the club was down by a run. Keep your eye on Longoria. Breaking ball just outside.
Now, in the event that a ball is hit to the first baseman Overbay or to the second baseman Aaron Hill, if you look at where the shortstop is now playing, Alex Gonzalez, he's going to have to be the one who gets to the bag to start the double play, to complete the double play.
He's also going to have to cover on a steal attempt.
He has a lot of responsibility right now.
Breaking ball just down. 2 balls and no strikes. Downs has had the upper hand in this matchup. Off the plate, 3-0. And now Batista, who is stationed over near third, moves back up the middle with a 3-0 count. Not expecting that Pena would chance pushing a ball up there with the count in his favor. in there for a strike.
So with the count 3-0 prior to the last pitch, Pena had 2 pitches to work with, clearly taking all the way 3-0. But if he gets one right here to his liking, expect him to turn it loose.
3-1 to the Rays first baseman Carlos Pena. Longoria at first base. Inside, he walked it. Downs trying to catch that inside corner. The ball moved off the plate. First 2 men aboard here in the bottom of the 8th. Casey Jansen is ready down in the bullpen. Bautista came over to Downs to give him the defensive play should there be a bunt, and this was a tough one. He assumed bunt with Jay, so he hit a 2-run home run.
Here in the bottom of the 8th, it'll be interesting to see what Joe Madden's decision is, but you'd almost expect he's going to bunt him along.
Big cut on by a fastball. Upton's late. 0-1. Tough to bunt B.J. Upton in this situation with as much power as he has.
It definitely is. But you know, sometimes a manager will give you one shot. You know, you get a pitch to hit, maybe turn him loose, and then if you swing through it, foul it off, maybe then change and go to a bunt. But I would think that at this point they're going to let Upton go ahead and swing away.
Well, Downs is so adept at getting ground balls. Willie Ibar is a switch hitter. He's on deck. Jays have turned 1 double play tonight. Good pitch. Upton fouled it back to the screen. A ball and 2 strikes on the Rays center fielder, B.J. Upton. Downs gave up the leadoff single to Longoria. Just punched into center and then walked Pena. And before he throws the pitch, John Buck's going to talk it over with him. A ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Breaking ball just missed down and in. Missed low. Upton took a couple close pitches. Full count. If you don't bunt here, I don't know that you start the runners either.
Well, it's tough to start the runners if you get the strikeout. Longoria is probably going to be out at third base, and you could take yourself right out potentially a pretty good inning.
3-2 pitch to Upton. Base hit left field. Here comes Longoria around third. Throw to the cutoff man, and the Rays have tied it. C.J. Upton cut down his swing with 2 strikes and just pulled it through the left side.
Well, you get the ground ball, but unfortunately, nobody can make a play. But what set the entire inning up was the base on balls to Carlos Pena. That puts you in a tough position. Then you go 3-2 to Upton. And you have to give in and throw a strike, and Upton takes advantage of it.
Cito Gaston has made the call to the bullpen. It'll be Casey Jansen to switch Willie Ibar around to the left side of the plate. The Rays have tied it with 2 hits and a bases on ball here in the 8th. Batter, the only 3 hitters he faced here in the 8th inning, and the Rays have tied it up. Casey Jansen out of the bullpen.
Casey very good in 7 games, 1.17. And he'll be called upon to get the Jays out of a tough situation now. 2 aboard, nobody out. Try to keep this a tie ball game here, going to the top of the 9th.
Jansen holding the ball, just hoping Ibar might tip his hand as to whether or not he's going to bunt.
Wouldn't shock me. Joe Madden start the runners and let him swing away.
Showing bunt up the third baseline. It's a beauty. Jansen slips, and Batista was surprised he got the ball. Great bunt by Ibar. It was going to be a tough play for Jansen. He would have had a shot at Ibar had he not lost his footing, and then the ball surprised Batista.
Jansen, if he doesn't slip, would have been able to make the play. But once the ball got past Casey Jansen, no chance for Bautista.
They give Willie Ibar a base hit. He'd squared around the bunt, made a perfect bunt up the third baseline, and that's going to load the bases now. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Gabe Kapler. It'll be Reed Brignac, a left-handed hitter. You've got to assume, and I don't know how you know, but you have to assume that both Burrell and Navarro were unavailable tonight. Burrell wasn't in the lineup against the left-hander. He's been bothered by some back stiffness, and Navarro was in the lineup. He was scratched. So Brignac comes off the bench to hit for Gabe Kapler. Rays have tied it up here in the 8th at 3-3. The infield will come in. There's still nobody out. Breaking ball down and in for a ball. Ball 2. It's only the third pinch hit at bat the Rays have had this year. Not too many pinch hitting opportunities, but tonight Gabe Kapler is lifted in favor of the left-handed hitting Brignac, who's done a good job against the right-handers. Right on the outside corner for a strike.
Well, there's no better situation to be in. We have the bases loaded, nobody out, the infield's drawn in, and you're still ahead in the count, so you can be selective if you're the hitter. And a great opportunity for the Rays to break this game open.
Jansen set. Ball down 3-1. Last year, Brignac hit .343 against right-handed pitching. 3-1 pitch. He walked him. Bases loaded, walk will give the Rays the lead. Second walk in the inning.
Well, late in the ball game last night, the base on balls almost came back to haunt the Jays, but they were able to figure out a way to get through it and win last night's ball game. But here in the 8th inning, if you go back to the second hitter of the inning, Carlos Pena walked, and that has so far, that's really set the entire inning up for the Rays, and they've taken advantage.
Soriano, the closer, is loose, standing by. No outs. Jaso takes a strike. John Jaso, 1 for 2 with a walk. Two-run home run in the 5th, his first big league home run. Ball missed down. Looked like Buck at least was going to fake the runner back to third. Upton had a very aggressive lead coming down the third baseline. A ball and a strike to the number 9 hitter, John Jaso, standing right on top of the plate. Rays have taken a 4-3 lead here with 2 in the 8th. Bases are loaded. Casey Jansen on in relief of Scott Downs, who started the 8th. Half swing foul down the left field line.
Well, the ball up and in, and Jaso just trying to check his swing, but foul it off.
Jeremy Accardo begins to throw for the Blue Jays. A ball and 2 strikes on John Jaso. Got to go back over the breaking ball and missed. 2-2. Hit him. Did he swing? Peel to third base. No swing. Dan Bellino said he didn't swing. That was Buck's appeal. Then he committed a swing. He got hit by the pitch, and another run comes in. Three runs in here in the eighth. Still nobody out, and the bases are loaded.
And things are really starting to unravel here for the Jays.
That closes the book on Scott Downs. All three of the batters he faced have come in to score. Leadoff batter Jason Bartlett swings and pulls it through the drawn and infield. One run comes in to score. Right behind him, here comes the throw to the plate. It's late. Well, the Ibar scored, and then the pinch hitter Reed Brignac right behind him.
Well, when you have to bring your infield in, the range is very limited, and this right here, this base hit is nothing more than the fact that the infield was drawn in. And then, of course, Freddie Lewis overthrows the cutoff man. If he hits the cutoff man, they probably might have been able to get an out at third base, but as it is, both runners are able to move up.
Jaso's at third. Bartlett's at second. Still nobody out.
Jaso they might have had him hung out to dry, but Lewis overthrew the cutoff man.
The ball outside to Carl Crawford. Crawford is the eighth man to hit in this inning. Evan Longoria started it. He singled to center. Ball two. The bullpen has been such a strength for this team all year long, and tonight command and control has cost them. They have thrown the ball well, but there have been two walks in the inning and a hit batter. Seven-3 Rays. 5 here in the eighth. Swinging a drive toward right field. Snyder on the run, makes the catch. Runners tagging. They've got a chance at the plate, and they're going to hold Jaso. Jaso really made a base running mistake right there and cost Carl Crawford an RBI. First move has got to be back on a line drive.
Anything in the air, the first move, you have to go back to third base. He got a little excited and was not able to get back and tag up in time to score. Here's a great shot. You see him come down the line and could not get back in time to tag up and score. That's definitely a base running mistake.
You see Foley explaining the situation to John Jaso. Casey Jansen has handed the ball over to Cito Gaston, and Jeremy Accardo will come on and relieve for Jansen. 5 runs in, still runners at second and third. Tampa Bay up 7-3. Jansen came on, and now Jeremy Accardo will try to get out of this inning. Still only one out, second and third for Ben Zobrist, the 9th batter this inning. Infield still drawn in. Zobrist takes a strike.
Jeremy Accardo working in just his 4th game of the season. He's pitched 5 innings, gave up 9 hits, just 1 strikeout.
Off the plate, 1-1. Accardo and Merkin Valdez haven't pitched an awful lot, simply because the starters have been pitching late and the bullpen has been very effective. He last pitched on Friday against the Angels. One pitch to Ben Zobrist. Down low, ball 2. Mike Ekstrom loosening up. Soriano had been ready, but after the 5 spot here in the 8th, they've sat him down. Ball 3.
Well, it seems as if in this inning the Jays pitchers have tried to be just a little bit too fine, trying to make the perfect pitch all the time instead of trusting their stuff maybe a little bit, and found themselves 2 walks, 1 hit batter, and constantly behind in the count.
Wilbur swings and fouls it into the glove of John Buck, 3-2. Well, this Rays team came back last night with a late game surge. They fell short. They added a single run in the 8th, but would lose 6-5. Joe Maddon's team has a lot of offensive weapons, and they've proven it here in this 5-run 8th inning. Foul back, 3-2.
I spoke to Joe Maddon. He felt like the team last night might have been a little bit tired after getting in late off a long road trip, but he said what really hurt us more than anything else, he says, you know, if Garza goes out there and there's Matt Garza, he goes, we're all right anyway. It really wouldn't have mattered, but he said, of course, we all know he struggled.
Another 3-2 pitch to Ben Zobrist. Base hit into left field. Jaso comes in to score. Right behind him, Bartlett to throw to the plate. The relay at second. No good. Not in time. 2 more runs come in. Ben Zobrist with an opposite field 2-run single.
Well, you see, comeback wins. Tampa Bay tied for second with the New York Yankees, just 1 game behind the Detroit Tigers. So they do have the ability to come back, and they never give up and throw in the towel, and they most certainly have done that here this evening.
Evan Longoria will bat for a 2nd time this inning. He got it all started with a single to center.
But Joe Maddon did, I said, well, you know, he did. Matt Garza did get you through the 5th inning last night. He said, you know, that was huge, because he said if he's out of there in about that 3rd inning, then I've got to go to that bullpen, and that means we're a little short the next 2 days. It could most certainly affect the outcome of today's game and tomorrow's game.
Longoria takes the ball down, 1-1. Yeah, you just don't realize the impact of the short start, how it's going to affect you for a couple of games, maybe even 3 if you have back-to-back short starts and have to go to your bullpen early. But Garza was certainly off his game. Longoria outside 3rd. A ball and 2 strikes. 9-3 Rays. 7 runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. they've out-hit the Blue Jays 11-6. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Rays' third baseman. Jeremy Accardo, the third Blue Jays relief pitcher in this inning. Driven to right. Zobrist tagging at second. Snyder catches as Zobrist moves up. 2 outs. Carlos Pena was one of the real catalysts in this inning. After the base hit by Longoria, he worked a walk from Scott Downs. That set up the RBI single by B.J. Upton that tied it. And that opened up the floodgates.
Well, the base on balls have definitely set the early part of this inning up. Now you have to give the Rays a lot of credit. When the door was open, they took advantage of it.
Dramatic shift here for Pena. Carter misses with a ball away. Dan Wheeler is the pitcher of record. He came in with 2 outs in the 8th inning and struck out Alex Gonzalez with 2 on. Zobrist, nobody keeping him close to third. Popped up. Bautista into shallow left is called for it. Then he makes the out. 7 runs in for the Rays. A big outburst against the Blue Jays bullpen. They lead it 9-3. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, all on connected right after this game. Mike Ekstrom comes out of the bullpen as the Rays have blown the game wide open with 7 runs in the 8th inning.
Well, took advantage of some wildness. You see the numbers from Mike Ekstrom. Worked 5 1/3 innings so far this season, but a couple of walks, a hit batter, a big hit by Upton, another one by Willie Ibar, and then Ben Zobrist, who just continues to pound the Jays pitch.
Bautista takes his ball.
Yeah, just have to give the Rays a lot of credit. You know, the Jays, some wildness there in that inning, but they took full advantage of it. When opportunity presented itself, they came through in a big fashion.
There's a strike. Well, one thing they did, too, was they were patient. Longoria got basically a defensive 2-strike base hit to center to start it. That's all he was looking to do, was get on base. He scored the tying run. Ball 2. Good performance by Ricky Romero down the drain. He went 7 innings. Longoria knocks it down, grabs it, and fires to first to get Bautista. Great first step range as Longoria went to his left, knocked it down, and then recovered in time for the out.
Oh, what an athlete. He lays out to knock it down. The ball squirts out of his glove, but look how quick he gets to his feet. And there was a lot on that throw right there. And had Bautista by 2 steps at first base. What a tremendous athlete.
A Gold Glove play. 1 out here in the 9th. Don Buck drives it to right field. Zobrist is there. 2 outs. Mike Ekstrom come out of the bullpen to pitch the 9th. Zobrist took over in right field. And Reed Brignac, the pinch hitter for Gabe Kapler, moved into second. Travis Snyder takes the pitch inside for ball 1. Swings and drives it toward left field. Paul Crawford with a diving catch to end the ball game. Takes away a base hit, and the Jays go down 1-2-3 in the 9th inning.
Well, the Rays finish it off with some great defense. A diving stop at third base to begin this inning by Longoria, and then a great catch. Carl Crawford laying out to rob Travis Snyder of a base hit.
Big 8th inning for the Rays. They come back and win another one from behind. 9-3. Rays win it. Stay tuned for